Hello, guys. I hope you're doing good. All right. I know life is sometimes hard, so keep it up for the meanwhile. You know things are gonna get better. Might not be today, might not be tomorrow, but I know there is a way. Oh well. Talking about a way of living, I'm gonna be talking about how I manage my money budget with some numbers that might not make sense for some, but I believe that in an economy where two people per household are working nowadays, because it's kind of hard to make it out with one person by itself, I think 4,500 as 100% might be doable for some states, some big cities, for example. But at the same time, I know it might be weird depending on specific areas when it comes into the other categories. Because, for example, I tend to follow what is called the 50, 30, and 20% pie. The 50% being the needs, the 30 being the wants, and the 20 being the savings. And what would it include? In the needs, it would include anything like housing, rent, mortgage, insurances, life, car, house insurances, car payment, credit card payments, personal loan payments, anything that you have to have pay yes or yes in order to continue living, or think for example, some people might include in this budget groceries, which I personally don't do it in here, because yes, it's a fact that you need food to survive, so it is a need, but in my specific scenario I would not include it. uh it depends on you what way you want to follow. And when it comes into like this need 50%, I know some people might not be able to make it, because sometimes housing ended up being like 70, 80% of your income. So it really varies a lot of people, to be honest. But in my scenario, the 30% of wants, of course, would include like food. In this scenario, or because yes, I might choose dining somewhere fancy or somewhere cheap, which nowadays cheap is not cheap no more. Or I might choose to do groceries, but that is my own choice. It's my own wantings. And so it's kind of flexible, but at the same time it would be like concerts, clothes, something fancy, excursions, something that you don't really need. Because you had to make sacrifices in order to obtain something later on. And the good thing about the wants is like something that you can really manage and move around whatever you want. Because if needs are really a big chunk of the 100%, let's say 70, 80%, that means you only have like 30%. And you can maybe put 10% in wants and 20% in savings, 10% in savings, 20% in wants. And I think that's the good thing. And of course, the last part of the pie would be into savings. Savings is really a big picture, because depending if you have a job or you don't have a job, or different type of scenarios, it really varies. I'm saying this because of course you might be getting paid through investment that you did in your life, or retirement, or pension, or something. So you still getting money, but you might not getting it from the work, or not a taxable work, so you can get cash payments, but that's not something you can put into a 401k. So in my specific scenario, I would take my 10%, so 450. In my scenario, I would say 500. I ended up paying 500 every month at the beginning towards investment. Of course, every person has their own way to invest. And my own way of investing, I will do a video later on. But I ended up grabbing what is like 10% into start out investing. We have another 10% left. Okay, so what ended up making with those? And to be honest, my whole paycheck, I ended up putting it in a high yield savings account where at the moment is 3.3% APY. So it might not be the best on the world compared to investment when people think about 7, 10, 12% of return per year. But I still feel that 3.3 is a good amount investment where you can get something in return instead of getting nothing. So I prefer to do that instead of just investing, taking out my money, paying taxes, and do those kind of stuff. So what happens? So those $500 left, that 10% left, I personally do it like a caution. A lot of people might call it an emergency fund, and that's right. Some people might think about 10, 6, 3, 1 month to have extra in you in case something happens. And that's true. Use something that you need to have. I know in this specific scenario, if 4,500 was my whole 100% budget, if we're talking about 500 as an emergency fund, it's not really a lot. And of course, if I want to make up 3 months savings, that's gonna be a lot because, for example, one whole month, 500 to 4,500, that is 9 times. That means I will have to straight up save 500 every month until 9 months in order to have a 1 month everything found. In 9 months is really a lot. So my some people might end up making 1 month in through the whole year. Not even 9 months, but it would take 12 months to make 1 month in savings. So that's what I'm saying. It's really hard, and I understand, but that's what really I do. I use that 500 extra, building something 3.3% instead of more, because what happened is there's like a curveball in my life. What happened if I ended up spending a little more money in something that I wanted, in something that I really needed? If I would have put it all the way into investments, I would not have it. But now that it's in my little cushion, I can straight up use it and do it that way, which is not the best, but I just have it right there for ending. And what I ended up making is at the next month, I just ended up making it into the investment. A lot of people might be thinking, well, in your 20%, you can put it towards your 401k. Some people are saying to put into your Roth IRA. Some people might put it into crypto. Some people might put it into specific companies or ETFs or something else, gold, silver. And in my scenario, that's what I do. So far, it's been working so well that I don't have to worry about it. So I really hope that you guys can have a little more visualization about how life could work. And with this, I know I'm gonna be making more videos, but they're gonna be towards credit cards in most of them. Maybe not personal finance, but I will make about my own experiences in personal finance because I'm not a finance um, advisor. But something I learned is that sometimes in the street you learn way more than in school. Sometimes. So if you walking the walk and you are able to talk with the thing that you preach, so if it works for you, why not share it? And that's kind of what this video is about. Trying to share what I know because I know some people might be worth it, and I know for most people might not be it. But I'm just trying to do my best at it right now. And I know if something helps to somebody, it will help somebody. And that's all that matters. So thank you so much, guys, to see me. And I hope to see you later. So bye.